Just got out of prison after serving 5 years. Ask me anything. Day 2 of freedom. What were you in prison for? Surprised this hasn't been asked yet. Me too. Basically, found out someone was hurting my youngest brother and I hit him. He hit his head and nearly died. 2nd degree aggravated assault. People often talk about how first offenders go to prison. They end up meeting career criminals and end up more involved in crime than they were before they went in. From your experience, would you say there was any truth in that or not? Not really. Most people there have been in and out of prison, so obviously they are not criminal masterminds and aren't up to date with the latest con games, which is why they resort to extorting sex offenders, because they have no game. Hey man, thanks for coming here and sharing all your experiences. Prison certainly is a very surreal concept for all people who never thought they would be there. This is also amplified by the fact that the US has a really messed up prison system, business model, which is very far from what we have where I live, so I was always very curious about it, while feeling empathy for the people trapped in this system. Based on the above, I have a few questions, if you don't mind. Before the incident, did you ever picture how it would be to go to prison? If so, did it make any difference in preparing you for it? Besides the people you described, were there any people that could carry out an educated conversation about deeper/interesting topics? How reflective on their life are inmates, including yourself, while in prison? If it's not pedophilia related, do people get treated differently based on what they have been convicted on? Does it matter/do they care if you have been convicted but you didn't do it? Is there a way of proving it to fellow inmates? Is there a general feeling of empathy of one another, or is to each their own? Thank you for your time, appreciate it. Before the incident, did you ever picture how it would be to go to prison? If so, did it make any difference in preparing you for it? I did not prepare because I did not think I would go to prison. I just tried doing one day at a time and focused on doing what I could to cut my time. Besides the people you described, were there any people that could carry out an educated conversation about deeper/interesting topics? Very few. Almost all the inmates were high school dropouts, burned out on drugs, gangbangers, so no. I met like 2 who actually went to college and I could talk to them as I would to someone on the outside. How reflective on their life are inmates, including yourself, while in prison? None. It's a way of life. If it's not pedophilia related, do people get treated differently based on what they have been convicted on? Does it matter/do they care if you have been convicted but you didn't do it? Is there a way of proving it to fellow inmates? Yes. But if you are lucky enough to be housed with people who don't care, then it doesn't matter. Quite a few people were in there for sex crimes. Is there a general feeling of empathy of one another, or is to each their own? Everyone looks after themselves, even though they call everyone brother. They're all trying to survive. There is no loyalty. Do the guards treat the inmates differently based on the crime that they committed? Not really. For inmates in general population, are the guards informed of each and every inmate's crime? Or because all inmates are treated the same, do they not necessarily know each and every one's story? Oh, they're aware but they really don't care, as long as you don't cause problems. Welcome back. What's the food like in prison? Depends. Sometimes it's okay, especially if you get commissary or packages. They had monthly events where you could order Panda Express or Pizza Hut or McDonald's. Did you get any tattoos in there? I'm guessing there are a few guys that are good at it. Are they compensated well by other inmates for the tattoos? Hell no. But yes, the tattoo artists are paid well, but it's like everyone is a tattoo artist. I've seen some messed up tattoos, lol. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I've always wondered about the book selection for people in prison. I feel like that's how I would spend the majority of my time. Were there restrictions on the books you could have in your cell? How many could you have at a time? Did you read any good books while you were in there? Was there a set time you could go to the library? You were allowed like 10 books. But the library was whack. Mainly fiction like Star Wars and self-help. It was the size of a small office and open 3 times a week for a few hours. I had my mom mail me books. How are you doing now? What are you looking forward to in the future? I just want to work and lose weight. Did time go by slowly in prison, if not the weeks preceding your release? Yes, painfully so. Plus you get paranoid. Some guys think they're leaving only to find out that they've picked up a new case. Hey, man. I was a county jail officer for a little over 6 years. I've been reading through your responses, and it looks like you've really been through it and not making up a story. I'm sorry you had to go through all of that. Stories similar to your made me want to get out of law enforcement a long time ago. I wish you the best. My best advice for a career immediately is to try your hand at sales, especially car sales. If you have a good personality, a dealership will give you a chance and you can make some good money. Need pass a background check for that. I have a few, if that's alright. What did you get charged for, and do you feel that you were tried fairly and without prejudice? Did everyone know each other's crimes, or were they mostly kept to themselves? What's the most jarring aspect of your new freedom? Did you make any close friends that you can see yourself continuing to stay friends with? What are some things that dramatized prison shows / movies get completely wrong? Did you experience / witness any sexual abuse / harassment? Was there any noticeable abuse of power by the co's? Thank you for this, Amma. What did you get charged for, and do you feel that you were tried fairly and without prejudice? Depends on how you define fairly. I'm a lot older than my younger brother, 15 years, and found him being molested by this older man. I was protecting my brother and hit the guy. I thought it was that simple, but they still wanted me to go to prison. Did everyone know each other's crimes, or were they mostly kept to themselves? When you come in, inmates ask to see your paperwork. If you don't, then they assume you are a child molester and you either have to find a new place to stay or get extorted. What's the most jarring aspect of your new freedom? How complex cell phones have gotten? Did you make any close friends that you can see yourself continuing to stay friends with? I said I would, but I lied. I lost all interest in prison life the minute I got on the bus. What are some things that dramatized prison shows / movies get completely wrong? It's a lot more boring than violent. Did you experience / witness any sexual abuse / harassment? I got hit on a lot. If you were a transsexual, then you probably got harassed a lot. Was there any noticeable abuse of power by the co's? I've seen co's pay off inmates to beat up other inmates with bribes of wiping their records or turning a blind eye when they tattoo. What's the best way to respond if another inmate is hitting on / harassing you? I imagine going to prison at 23 would be kind of difficult. BTW, that sucks about what happened. Sounds like the guy who molested your brother deserved worse than just getting hit on the head. Glad you're out now. I know the felony record thing sucks, but there are definitely jobs that will hire you if you know where to look. I ignored them, and I know my career options are bleak unless I find a way to get around the background check. What was the recreation like? Were you able to watch TV or have any type of hobby? Here were 2 TVs on opposite sides of the unit, one Spanish and one English, like 10 channels. During the day, they had pay-per-view, so you could see new movies that played in a loop for 2 weeks. The only hobbies were cards and sleeping. I worked out, but it sucked because showers were limited unless you had a bucket to wash out of. Did the guards care if people got tattoos? What is the worst thing a co has done? Was the prison dirty? Did you have to clean it? Did you have any friends? Were you ever lonely? Did you get to do anything fun if you had free time? What did you do to pass the time? How old were you when you got arrested? How is the relationship with your family, specifically your brother? Sorry for the long list of questions, but I'm really curious. Did the guards care if people got tattoos? Yes, they knew but didn't care. Too much paperwork if they busted them. What is the worst thing a co has done? Hired some inmates to beat the shit out of another inmate. Was the prison dirty? Did you have to clean it? Cleaner than you think. People live in close quarters and demand respect. I never cleaned. I hired people to clean for me and do my laundry. Did you have any friends? Nope. Were you ever lonely? More bored? Did you get to do anything fun if you had free time? All you had was free time, lol. What did you do to pass the time? Sleep and eat. I got a lot of crap for sleeping. How old were you when you got arrested? In my 20s. How is the relationship with your family, specifically your brother? He's 13 so he avoids all adults. I think he's scared of me. What did you get your bae in? Do you have some kind of friend/family support system going for you so that you at least have a place to stay while you look for work? And finally, how much probation are you looking at now that you're out? What did you get your bae in? Political science. Do you have some kind of friend/family support system going for you so that you at least have a place to stay while you look for work? Staying in a motel until parole can find me housing. I don't want to move in with my mom and brother because it might be uncomfortable for them with parole popping in. And finally, how much probation are you looking at now that you're out? 1 year if I do well.